And what happens to the human body, and we're not the only ones, turns out the other animals seem to have these coping mechanisms too. We have three general avenues of possibility. One of those avenues of possibility involves advance, one involves retreat, and the other involves hide and dissociate in many cases, and tune out. And all three of those will show up for all of us, won't they? At different times, there's times where the only way you could deal with the stress was to escape. You know what I mean? You couldn't deal with it, it was too much, and it was the right choice for you. And there's other times where you made the escape at the wrong time when you should have stayed in the ring and followed through to completion. And it turned out to be a bad, bad choice. And there's other times where attacking, you know, and maybe even tapping into your anger and using your anger. There are things to get angry about. And if your winning formula is, I'm never going to let my emotion vary, then I'm never tapping into my truth. Right? It comes in the form of emotion. I don't like that. There's political stuff. Can you think of a few? Right? That you have every right to get angry. Now, is it the most productive emotion in the end? Probably not, right? I mean, nobody wants to work with an angry person. Nobody wants to work with someone who's just not fun to be around, that doesn't, have a positive feeling about it. But to bounce off the bottom, right? That third possibility, that's the basement. That's what most of us call fear. But to me, I would call all three of these, fight, flight, and freeze, all of them, to me, all of them are fear. They're just the different rooms of the house that you might call fear. Right? So on one hand, you say, all right, well, we have these moments of panic where we are narrowed into one of those three possibilities because of the options that we have available to us, right? And so one of those options could potentially be, I want to escape, but I don't know how, and the way that I need to escape isn't really adaptive, it's not really helping the situation, but I'm going to do it anyway. So we love to watch the students when they first jump out of the airplane, especially on solo jumps, on a static line jump. Man, do they swim. It's kind of, it's comical later on. For the person, they don't even know it really. They're just, swimming in, and the parachute opens automatically, and it's not a big deal. But there's these natural coping mechanisms that said, escape, get out of Dodge, right? And I can tell you, I've been there myself. I've felt it even later on. As a jump master, I was working in Colorado years and years ago. And back in those days, we did a lot of static line students, right? We have a rope. And you put the student out on this rope that attaches their parachute to the airplane and pulls the parachute out as they leave and fall away. And within 2 seconds, they have an open canopy. So my job is to make sure the static lines don't get entangled and to look the students in the eyes and smile and say, you're going to be okay. You know this stuff, right? Just like your instructor does, right? You know this stuff, right? In school or anything else. You have people that nurture your inner pilot, right? Your inner yes, I can, right? And so that was my job. And my job was focused outside of me. I'm the helper. It's not about me. And so on this particular jump, I remember it was about 110 degrees out. And so back in these days, we jumped without helmets a lot, which I don't recommend. And I have goggles. I was in a hurry, running out to take these 5 students up. And I had no shirt on because it was so hot, and I had short, skimpy little shorts on. That's it. A parachute and that, right? And so I'm doing my job, and the last student goes out. And out of habit, I reel in the static line bag and I wrap it up and I stuff it under the seat and I jump out of the airplane. And I can tell you at this moment, after I left the airplane, when I felt all that wind on my mostly naked body, I got to tell you, scariest moment of my life. Because I was sure that I forgot my parachute. Can you picture that feeling? Right? And so we have these moments that shock us, and maybe it's more moderate, but we have these panic, pattern recognition, oh my God, and we jump to conclusions, don't we? And most of the time we're wrong. Most of the time Chicken Little is way off. So the truth is that most of the time when people do adventure sports or they do dangerous things with their careers, right? Starting new businesses, right? We are given the opportunity to visualize something that isn't there and create it, right? something that was just a possibility. But through our investment in the visualization process, we drift further and further from our fear, and we start to create something new in the world, right? The parachutes that you see there, I don't just know what they are. I built them at the house. I designed them from scratch. And I started designing parachutes because the parachutes that were out there had some issues. They needed help, so I stepped in. And I can tell you, it's a scary thing to start designing parachutes. Because, you sign yourself up for something like that kind of a dangerous path that potentially could make the world a better place. And potentially could make your life really interesting every once in a while. Right? So I decided that the value of this was worthwhile, right? As you will. There's going to be things in your life where you decide, yes, this is the riskier path. But it feels right to me. And I know that you all think I'm crazy, mom and dad, you know what I mean? And I know that other people, might continue to judge me. But if you don't follow your path, you know what I mean? The one that feels right in your gut, what are you?
Life is a risk. There's a huge risk in life. The biggest risk in life is that you'll waste it. Is that you'll be 80 years old and kicking yourself saying, if only I'd done this, I wish I'd done that. The biggest risk in life is that you waste your opportunity of living it.